Originality is hard to come by these days on social media. I'm sure you're aware of that as well. I was inspired about a year ago by my friend and colleague, Ronda Van Buren of Bella V Marketing. And I was really kind of surprised one day when she said, well, hey, my new thing is be your story. And she uses that hashtag be your story if you follow her on Instagram or on her business page. And she told myself and a couple other colleagues, like, hey, I'm trying to get her added to my clients. And I thought, wow, that is quite an undertaking, because the essence of it is that you kind of strip out, and these are my words, Ron is going to talk about it. That's why we're doing this today. But you sort of strip out all that corporate speak and all those cheesy stock photos that are overused and don't really reflect you and your brand and your voice and the people who are really the essence of your business. And she pitched it to her clients, and I thought, oh my God, that's a lot to do. Because you're talking like rewriting website copy and changing out the images that you're using, and getting your clients also to actually create that personalized content or take those personal photos or those real photos like of their place of business, instead of just trying to find generic stock photos that represent that business of yours. So she's been doing this now for a while, and I noticed that I've been wanting to use that inspiration from Ronda on Instagram, and in utilizing hashtags. I think Instagram and Pinterest are two very common platforms where we tend to see a lot of overused, just overdone, just kind of expected, like light backgrounds with the carefully placed office, the coffee cup and your pen and your planner and stuff. And you just see it so many places by so many people. And then you just start to feel like it's so fake. And especially when you see the same stock photo being used a lot. And so I'm like, you know what? It's a lot more work, but darn it, Rhonda's doing it the right way. So with no further ado, this is Rhonda of Bella V Marketing, and I have a few questions to ask her so she can talk to you all about her Be Your Story. I'm going to call it her initiative. So anyways, Rhonda, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Liz, good morning.
Can you tell us, I guess maybe just sort of start like how you came up with the idea to begin with?
Yeah, so this is something that I've been thinking about a while, that was really just paying attention to the world, so to speak, and how we are trending. If you remember, gosh, probably a year ago or so, we started with the no filters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we started with the stop photoshopping everything. Megan Trainor, right? Let's keep it real.
Sure.
What did she say? No more photoshopping. And so I just started really paying attention to what we wanted as consumers, and even myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome seeing these people all dressed up and look amazing, but that's not everyday life, right? That's not what we do every day. Perfect example, I think, is, have you ever went someplace and like idolized somebody online or loved one of their products, and then met them in person and you were so disappointed because they weren't that person in real life?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's really the inspiration behind Be Your Story, is people want the real thing. They want to connect with somebody, and social media allows us to connect on a conscious and unconscious level with somebody. And so it's a perfect platform for us to be our story. This is who we are. This is real. So that's what brought it on.
And it seems too that by being more of your real self, that's a good way to cut through the clutter. So for people who are trying to figure out how to stand out, because between, like, I know I mentioned like the stock photos, but so much of social media also is automation. And, people are just auto posting stuff and not really spending true time active on the platforms. So I think it's like, for those small businesses, especially, who are like, well, how do I compete with the big guys, or how do I stand out from the crowd, especially if I'm just getting started now? And this would be a great way to do it, because
Yep.
everything is just so basically over processed and over automated that this would be a
Absolutely.
unique way to make a difference.
Right.
So
Well, and I think one of the things, Liz, is when you mentioned small businesses, is one of the things is, well, as a small business, when we look at the bigger guys and we see their Instagram post or an influencer Instagram post, we're like, wow, that's amazing. I could never do that. But you have to remember that shot was not a one-time thing. It was probably 50 shots.
right.
There's a photo editor. There's somebody with wind blowing in your hair to make it amazing, right? I know. Woo!
Yes.
And we love those. We love that they're beautiful and we love that they do it. But it's not real. That's not every day in how we interact. So as a small business, as you mentioned, that's a thing to think about. That's awesome. That's gorgeous. And it may make me want something in that photo. But when I see a product or how you're using your product or a person behind it, that builds the relationship, which is longer term than that one beautiful photo.
Absolutely. So you came up with this idea. You knew it really meant something. The next step was pitching it to your clients. So how did that go? What kind of pushback? Because obviously there's going to be people who watch this who are like, there's no way I can be, I can do all this. So like, what were some of those roadblocks and how did you, convince your clients to push through them to actually try to implement this?
Mm-hmm. So what we first did is we really want to start small with everybody,
Okay.
and talk about, like, these are small things we can do every day. So this program that we have is not implemented all in like 30 days. It's a
Okay.
continuous movement. Some people are, still struggling with putting it together, quite honestly, but
Okay.
it's a process. It's all a process. So what we started with is talking to our clients about social media, in removing a lot of, a major percentage of their stock photos.
Okay.
So that's how we started. So I work with a lot of dealerships. And so my dealerships, what we do is we always try to have them send us pictures of happy customers.
Okay.
So it's just a picture of a customer. Obviously, they have to do a visual release, but and that's how we started on social. And then we incorporate that. We take some happy photos and we move them onto the website. So then you're getting those real people onto that website where there's stock photos. So that's really the baby step into it and how we got our customers involved in it. The next step is working with them to get photos on their website, pulling out the stock and putting on actual photos of people on the website. The thing with the photos on the website is people don't like their picture taken, right? I think that's one of the biggest obstacles, believe it or not, is when I go in someplace to get photos, people are like, I don't want, you're not putting my photo up there. So it's finding the right people to do it within the organization. And getting buy-in from some of the managers and other people. So that's how we implemented it. And then from the images, then we go into some little more comments or content about individuals that work inside the group or the business, in bringing them into it. So while stock photos and that stuff, yes, absolutely, you want to change that out. There are small things that smaller businesses can do that may not have a budget for a photographer, because sometimes you do have to bring a photographer in to get certain shots. But for a small business, it's taking pictures of your customers, taking pictures of your product in use, taking pictures of your employees, using your employees. People love employees. Liz had mentioned my Instagram feed. Our Instagram feed is real as it gets. You'll see me in a ponytail with, my glasses on, my dogs. You'll see all of it.
Your animals that live at your house.
My animals, right?
Ranch.
Chickens. Yeah. We've got it all. But that's real life for us.
And actually,
So that's
Alicia,
the way we operate.
who's watching, I know she's a horsewoman. So she just commented saying about to jump back into social media. So she's thrilled to see a shift to authenticity within consumer client demands. So yeah, perfect.
Love that. Perfect. And put those horses everywhere.
Yeah.
I will follow. If I could take this into my daughter's room, it's like a horse village.
There you go. There you go. So with those implementations, obviously it was almost kind of like, it almost seemed like more some of the hurdles were more of like, how do I get this done necessarily, as opposed to not buying into the idea. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
So to
Yep.
help the people who are listening out there also, I mean, I'm thinking, you know, what I want to know in general what tips you gave, but you know, I'm thinking you said, hey, smartphone photos and videos work, right? Just make sure you have some good lighting and good sound, and like it doesn't have to be super like edited or anything. Or you know, what are, you know, to be more like realistic, like what are some of the things that you told them to help them, okay, I can actually get this done?
Hmm. So interestingly enough, my biggest thing is I always say this, just keep it real. It doesn't have to be a pose. It can be a random shot. Just keep it as natural as possible. So if you think about when you're out with your family or you're out someplace and you see this shot and you take it, you don't stage it. You don't prep it and put all this amazing stuff, right? You just take the shot. So those are my advice. Take the shot. Okay.
So
You know,
basically don't
be in
overthink.
the photo. Don't overthink it. Right. Yes. I'm gonna add that to my everything. Do not overthink. Just take the shot. Because guess what? In 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be able to use it in some way. It may not be at that moment, but it may
Yeah.
be 2 days down the street. You're like, oh wait, or 2 days down the week, you'll be like, wait, that I can use that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, again, just take the shot. Ask the customer. Ask the question. Now, video is a little bit different. You did mention video.
Mm-hmm.
I do definitely, when we do a video, um, if it's a customer that is really into videos, I help them create a staging area that's already set up. So they
Okay.
almost, kind of like sometimes when you're on live, you have backgrounds and all of this.
Okay.
This is what my office looks like. No background. So I'll set something up so it's natural for the client to get
Okay.
in with a customer or a product. Otherwise, I love that in the back there. Um,
So basically,
so
if they're going
that's
to do
something.
video, it's worth their time to dedicate some kind of like studio space. Like it doesn't have to be a huge, but just something set up, because it probably helps you execute a lot faster because you don't have to pull everything out. You can just say, hey, we have this idea. Let's get in there. Okay.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm. And run with your ideas. Video, you don't have to post everything that you video.
That's true.
Right. Obviously going live is a little bit different. So that's a whole nother animal. But if you're like, hey, I have this product, I want to use my product this way, try it.
Mm-hmm.
Try it. Get a stand and put your iPhone up and just do a quick video, quick shot of it. See if it works out.
Now, do you have any sort of anecdotal stories or examples, like now that you've had clients who have implemented this for a period of time? Like, do you notice that there's differences? Do you feel like customers who are coming in, notice the difference? What has been kind of like, at this point? And I know a lot of this, the implementation was gradual, but do your clients
Mm-hmm.
feel like, okay, this was good and it was worth it to make that change?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of tracking,
Okay,
especially on social media. It's a little bit harder on websites,
sure.
to track the actual did this work type
Mm-hmm.
situation. But it makes a huge difference on social media platforms. So I'll give you an example right now. One of my clients is running a contest to win this really cool tailgating barbecue set, and she's loves the camera, but it's not her favorite thing. And I'm like, no, video. You have to do a video. Show yourself pulling it out. Talk about it online. The last time I looked at it, she had already over 3,000 views on it, 641 actual minutes viewed.
That's wonderful.
And yeah, so I mean, and it was all her, and it's very real. It's very much her story. It's her talking about it, and that's all organic. I
Mm-hmm.
just boosted it this morning, and it had like 700 likes and shares and comments on it. So
Oh,
people respond to other people.
yes,
um,
for sure.
so it works well. From my sales standpoint, from my other ones, other clients outside of the dealership, a lot of it is seeing that face. So they see somebody on on Facebook, Instagram,
Okay.
then they go in and like, hey, I know you.
Yes.
Or I saw this.
There's that
You know,
personal connection because of,
yes,
okay, okay.
absolutely. Even believe it or not, even product. If you have a product like placement in the house, like right now this month on Pinterest is yellow and sunflowers.
Okay.
We put it in a setting, yellow sunflowers in a setting. We had almost instantaneous people reaching out to my flower shop going, how do I get those sunflowers?
Okay.
So, you know, and it was just a real shot in my house.
Okay. See, yeah. So it doesn't have to be hard.
No,
Or
keep it easy, keep it simple.
right. So, for examples like that, how do you, is it just like part of your regular marketing calendar plan, some of those themes, and then you just try to pull from your marketing plan in through like the videos and the photos? Just for those small
Yeah.
businesses who are like, well, how do I figure out what matters, this month? What kind of advice do you have with that?
Mm-hmm. So think about what you do in your everyday life. So it's back to school time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. So what I do is, we have a calendar, a yearly calendar that we look at it, what naturally trends. But if as a small business, just think about where you're at in your life. Think about what's happening around you.
When you go to
the
grocery store and your Home Depot and your Lowe's, what kind of stuff do they have when you first walk in, right?
Yes, but please don't start talking about Christmas yet. I am not ready.
Right.
Not ready.
Alicia says she's going to
yeah.
ride her horses through a sunflower field to promote her natural artwork. So there you go.
Yes.
You just
I love it. Perfect. Make sure you send us pictures of that because we definitely want to see that.
Yes.
Post it on Liz's page.
There you go.
But yeah, absolutely. Any of that, just throw this out. It would be awesome in kind of like a funny type of thing if you got a picture of dropping a kid off to school on a horse. Okay, so this silly.
Uh-oh, don't give Alicia those kinds of.
Obviously, we're coming already into September, so we're past the back to school and start thinking about football, tailgating, all of those kind of things that are coming up.
Yeah. All right. All of a sudden, things are getting really choppy, but I was at the end of my list of questions anyways. So just to let everybody know, she is Rhonda Van Buren at Bella V Marketing. And what is for those people who want to go check out Be Your Story and your Instagram handle? I don't want to say the wrong one. What is your Instagram handle?
It's at the Bella V Marketing. So Bella V
the Bella V Marketing, and I'll go ahead and I'll leave that in the comments too for everybody. So thank you so much for joining us today with your fantastic marketing initiative, Be Your Story. And if you have any questions, Rhonda's very good about follow-up, so go ahead and leave those in the comments, and you all have a good rest of your day. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thanks, Liz. Have a great day, everybody.